Hey everybody, welcome back to Plot Points. We're gonna have all the fancy graphics and all that coming right up. I'm Legend and Song DM Sean, your story guide for the night, and I'm just back from the dentist. So if you thought I looked funny on a regular night, tonight you get to have all sorts of fun. But we always have fun when we get together with the Plot Points players. Tonight, we think we're going to be short one. We have somebody else we think is still logging in. That would be John, who plays Rembrandt. We don't think we're going to be seeing Kitty Doe tonight, who plays Huxley, the man on fire. But we have the rest of the crew here. So I'm going to let them take over and start chatting with you a little bit, chat. So chat it up while I just got in the door and I'm setting up OBS and all my screens. So I'm going to need a couple minutes. But take it away, Plot Points players. It's all yours.
Yo, what up? That's how we open it, apparently.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
I love it.
I'll start with the usual introductions. My name's Herec, if you don't already know, and I play the wonderful B.O.S.E, who just realized from last session that he is not the only kind of his kind, if that's a sentence. Either way, there's a massive B.O.S.E now, so just doing its own thing that I'm pretty curious about, and B.O.S.E is sure as hell pretty confused yet happy at the same time. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens there. But I'm gonna send it off to Stranger.
Hello, I'm Stranger. I play Nerrida, our swashbuckling water Genasi. You can find me here on Thursdays. You can also find me online at a couple places at Duckaqueers on Twitter, duckaqueers.com on the interwebs, where things may or not be completely updated to accommodate our players and their characters, but whatever. I don't even remember. Oh God, I just realized it's Thursday and I haven't been uploading episodes this week, and I forgot to all last week. Oops. I'm a little behind this week and last week. But they're on the way. So yeah, I'm gonna put it over to Colton.
Hey everybody, I play Klaak, a Goblin Barbarian. I'm currently stuck in a jail cell in a ship, I think.
That's right.
Everybody, I watched a little bit of the stream last week while I was at work, and I think everybody got really interested in a chair.
Yep.
Yes.
The chair was fascinating.
Chair.
It was.
It was the chair episode.
I started building up a Discord for a thing called the Broken Wheel, and I'm trying to. I'm thinking we're gonna do like an Adventurers League kind of D&D thing. And so I have a few people that are a few friends. One of them is Samurai Jesus. He's been hosting the stream occasionally, and we have some people, some crossover people that watch both, I think, his streams and ours. He's going to be over there too, doing some D&D stuff, but mostly just want to have fun and have a good time. And I think if I set up a couple one-shots that are Adventure League related. What do you guys think, RP-wise? Anything been very cool that you've seen like happen recently in your respective communities?
Let's see. Well, with the games I run, because I run 3 different games now. We just started a session 0 on Monday of my new pirating game.
Is it like a new core rule book, or is it using 5th edition?
No, it's all homebrew. Everything I do is homebrew.
Are you doing rolls, or are you doing...
It's 5e. It's still 5e. It's just homebrew setting, homebrew content, homebrew campaign. So
I don't know why my brain went to like Call of Cthulhu. That's what you're doing for pirates for some reason, and you didn't say that at all. But I just went to, all right, you have stats and you have this, and now we're doing pirates.
Yeah, basically. But on this new campaign, the first arc of it is actually a hex crawl in the flavor of Hot Springs Island.
Okay.
Which is something that one of my acquaintances, friend of a friend, really ran for said friend and I and a couple other people, a couple of friends of mine actually. And it was really interesting, so I thought I would introduce a bit of a hex crawl aspect to the first arc of this campaign because they're on an island, as pirates are for what to do. And it's an exploratory mission that they're on because they've been hired by a cartographer to...
I'm going to steal some of this, by the way.
Oh, go right ahead. That's fine.
I love this idea so far.
But yeah, they've been hired by a cartographer to go help him map out and defend him while he maps out this new island in these waters that most people don't go into.
Does he walk really slow or too fast?
Yeah, it's a little too slow because he's drawing the whole time. Yeah, so that's interesting. And we just got our session 0 done, and we had a couple of hours of time to play, so we started the game and had some good role play. And our characters ended up playing strip poker.
Well,
damn. All right.
Are you guys?
That was my reaction to it. I was like, "Is that what you guys wanted to?" Okay,
Is anyone excited for
I'm just here to tell you what to roll.
Is anybody excited for the new Ravenloft core
yes.
rulebook?
Yes.
I heard about that. Yeah.
I do love me some gothic horror, so I'm excited about it.
Looks cool. I got to watch. I think D&D now does its own little YouTube blurb about products that they put out, so it's like 30 minutes long or something. I got to watch that about it, and it kind of explained like all the different zones, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, and aren't they just redoing all the old domains of dread and just kind of like rehashing them for 5e?
Yeah, it's like there's like a couple of them that they had like duplicate like vampire lords and things like that, so they put new lords in charge of different domains and things like that. And then some of them didn't, like, I don't know, because it's all kind of in Eastern Europe, right? Kind of setting, and then all of a sudden there's like ancient Egyptian domains and stuff like that too, so they were trying to make it make more sense a little bit, so I think they moved some stuff around, but yeah. I'm not completely positive about it.
Well, that was the way it always was. They had all that. You could get the desert modules, like you said. Everything else, it's like
they the other thing that I thought was really interesting, one of the domains they did change was a like relentless dead kind of a change. So one of the old vampire zones is now going to be like hordes of zombies. You're always pursued.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's like never ending.
I'll tell you, you need to fear zombies in my game because my zombies aren't anything like 5e or regular modern zombies. Oh yeah, zombies are bad Larry. Pick all your favorite zombie movies and just kind of roll them into one. Zombies are the undead are bad Larry. Don't screw with the undead. They ain't happy and they're willing to make you unhappy too. And let's see, stranger. I think I got one more.
I think like I'm doing kind of a homebrew thing on Saturdays for some friends, and I don't want to ruin it. Hopefully they don't even see this so that they don't know, but doing like a custom zombie monster. So you just like I was like, oh man, am I going too far with this? Because I wanted to be like a corpulent zombie that has like all these dwarves all mashed together, and every time you like do enough damage, dwarves fall off, undead dwarves, and more and more and more.
That's a nightmare.
No, keep like just how do I balance this where it's not like just too many things, getting 3 more zombies every turn.
God.
There we go. Look at that. We have some graphics in place. All right. So now we actually look like we are somewhat professional and we had no time to get it together. One step down. Oh, I guess I don't have the chat up yet. I've got to grab a Twitch chat. Where the heck are you? I see you moving around on my screen, but I don't know quite where I put you. So I'm just going to have to find you.
And then been having some pretty spicy stuff in Grand Theft Auto roleplay happen in our own games, and then also No Pixel is like the big like ship head for that. So they released 3.0, and there's a lot of interest in that right now. So there's a lot of people watching and getting down on that. So it's a lot of fun. I've been like keeping kind of it. It's hard when people stream 10, 12 hours a day every day and you work, and then how do you like keep up on the story when it's I need like an abridged.
I feel you there.
What's it called? Yesterday, because I have another campaign I play with a buddy, but it's just like we don't stream it, we don't do that, we just do it for the fun of it and just to see what crazy stuff happens. And yesterday was a pretty interesting day because I play another Warforged in that game. I love Warforged. If you didn't know that,
I got the feeling when I watched like 3 different streams and you're playing 3 different Warforged from the old games and old campaigns.
I can't get enough of them. I fell in love with them as soon as I saw them. I was like, oh my god, yes, please, let's see what we can do with this. But not this week's session I had, but the week before, we had an incident where we were just looking for quests on the board and everything like that. It's trying to stay busy and make money, but it ended up being is that there was an awesome, interesting quest about a experimental spell maker, right? Who needed some sort of test dummies, and they were paying 50 gold an hour. I was like, that sounds like fun. What's the worst?
What's the worst that could happen?
Exactly.
Futuristic necromancer testing. Let's get in here.
And so we go through that, and it's me and another friend who's playing. Oh my god, he's playing a warlock tiefling, and I'm again a what's it called, Warforged druid, doing its thing, but we're there, and I have to give it to my DM because he came up with the most interesting character for this spell maker, because like he was just wacky and just. The description was mad scientist-esque. Like, you didn't know what the heck this guy was saying half the time. So you just kind of sat there and was like, all right, do magic on me. Give me my money. Okay. So he goes and does, like, some crazy-ass stuff. And then, all of a sudden, my friend just disappears. Gone. And I'm just like, did he just die? Is he gone? Like, dead? And like my DM wouldn't say anything. It's just like he's just not there anymore. So I'm like, okay, he's either completely dead or he's just invisible. Turns out he was invisible, and that his invisibility also somehow cures diseases. But unfortunately, the side effect is invisibility.
Permanent.
So yeah. So we went through all that, trying to get him back to the realm of the visible, and so we got him back. But as we were leaving, there was a catch to it, because as they did all those spells on both of us, we went back, we had a long rest, and when we woke up, my friend had this weird thing. I don't know if it's a flaw technically now, but every time he walks through a door, he has to slam it with all of his force. So there goes our stealth.
I'm having problems controlling the volume of my voice.
So there goes the stealth. But what was even more interesting was with my character, when I woke up, apparently the way that my DM described it was I just felt different. And I was like, okay, this is weird. What's different about me? So I go and I mentioned, like, can I look at a mirror or something like that? And he says, yeah, go ahead. Turns out he turned me into a female. And that was the most interesting role play there, because I was just like, okay, I could do a lot with this.
Yeah.
So I described myself almost as if. Does anybody remember that movie, Robots? It was the animated movie.
I think so.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, there's a character in there that's named was it Mrs. Fanny? It's a big robot with a big old caboose.
I think so. I think I remember.
So that is what my character looked like for like a whole entire session almost, until we eventually got to the cleric and had to pay $200 to get me back to normal. But it was an interesting time, and I'm probably going to go back to that spell maker all over again, because
nice.
See what's going on, See, it was fun. It was a good trip. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So nobody on stream could just hear me at all because I had muted my keyboard while I was so I didn't clack over all you guys while I typed away. So what I was just saying was I happen to be invited to that same game, so I know the GM that he's talking about. and I was super stoked. I was so ready. I like said, "Hey, look, I'd love to play this and whatnot." But the DM wanted to make sure, just as I would, that it was okay with the players. So I kind of waited and never heard anything. And again, I live in halfway across the world, so a totally different time zone. And never heard anything. I was like, all right, well, I went on with my day. And then I came home that evening, sit down, and there's a message going, so, are you up to playing tonight? And I'm like, dude, I would have, like, dropped everything and been out of that, because forever DMs never get to play. And I was really super stoked to play a game rather than DM a game. And I was like, so I missed the opportunity, and I'm kind of hoping that he'll invite me next week to play along with you. Because
I definitely think so, because I think you would have so much fun with this world, Sean. I think you could definitely bring some interesting things in.
Every world is just interesting. It really comes down to the players. You got good players, you got a good world. That's really what makes it. Which is why I asked all of you about your world. Now, I think I heard from Colton talking about our world that he said something about he thought he heard he was strapped into a chair. Did I hear that right, Colton?
No.
Okay, good.
I just heard that you guys spent a lot of time with a chair.
Yeah, we did. And that was
Chad's saying that Eric's image is static, by the way.
Oh no.
Eric's image went static? All right, sorry about that. I probably clicked something.
I was like, he's so good looking over here. What's going on?
Well, he is. He holds that smile like nobody else. Let me see where I clicked him off by mistake. It says he's on. Nope. Oh, somehow.
I think I have something like wrong with Warforged, and I like the idea of them. I just have a hard time like building a Warforged. I think because it's kind of like my love of like space horror movies, right?
To your image?
Yeah. I love it, but why does it connect me to like a person? I think that's my problem that I have, right? If I build this really cool like space sphere dome that's like set way in the future, why does that connect me to now? How do I actually put that into person? What does it say about society? What does it say about me? How do I connect that? So it's like such a weird like thought or whatever, but it's like I'm already such a disconnected kind of person, and then to put me into like a robot body
would be like,
I don't know what happened,
there's no internal conflict, there's no external conflict then. And I'm like, well, so it's not, and then it feel like I don't stretch if I'm playing like a Warforged, but they're really cool. But I want to like, I don't understand. I guess I need to figure it out. What do you think you like about it?
I like, apart from the general like aesthetic of like the actual race itself, because I just love how it's like integrated armor, things like that. But the actual like attributes of the race are like, it kind of seems borderline broken, but it's not, because one, I don't have to eat. Two, I don't have to breathe. So going underwater is not a problem for me. Well, technically it is. If I can't technically swim because I'll just sink. But what else is there? There's the Sentry's Rest, which is pretty sweet. And then with the integrated armor, I could choose what level of armor I want each day. Like I think it's like every long rest I could choose to either put like light, medium, or heavy, things like that. So it gives me a lot of options, for me at least. I like those things about it. Plus, they're great for like soaking up damage. So, especially if you make them into a fighter, because I did have a fighter Warforged one time, and that thing was a tank. Forget about it.
Claymore.
Yeah, I think I would play Warforged like against type. I think if I played one, now that I think about it, it seems like almost the perfect race to play against type. So, like a crazed Warforged that thinks they're a man or something like that. And then you're playing.
Cool. One of the things I was going to say was one of the ideas that I have for a Warforged that I want to play is actually taken from one of the Eberron books, where one of the authors wrote that certain Warforged were made in human images, which is where you get the Wayfinder's Guide, and they played around with some of that stuff, but it didn't work out. But why make a Warforged like a female if they actually don't have mammary glands or anything else? Yet they did. And I was like, what would that be like to be playing a Warforged who's designed in a human form, even though they can never have any of the biomechanicals, and whereas like you talked about the crazed, either desires that more than anything, And I just realized
like
I'm reinventing
Pinocchio.
one of my Shadowrun characters from like 30 years ago, so never mind.
That'd be good. I'm a real boy.
I'm trying to remember what the like D&D released something. I think in third edition or right before third edition, maybe the end of second edition for like it was like a complete desert.
Are you talking about Dark Sun?
Dark Sun, and that's for some reason I was thinking Dark Sun, Warforged. Like the two of them are so at odds with each other. This like cannibal militias or whatever it was Dark Sun the campaign.
Yeah. I like the Wild Elves because they remind me of the Dark Sun, just making weapons out of bone, making weapons out of whatever you got, because there just is nothing. None of this modern metal stuff. It's like, I mean, metal is like magic.
There's like, what was it, like 15 pages on how to make bone armor?
Yeah, it's pretty intensive. So, do we want to play? I'm ready to kick this thing if you guys are. I mean, we got a screen, so.
Well, let's go for it.
Let's pick up where we left off, a real quick chat on that. I want to thank all the audience who hung with us this long while we got some tech stuff done, and you had a chance to hear from the players. When we left off last, and I don't know if Colton had a chance to watch the episode or not. From 2 weeks ago, Colton was left in the brig of a ship in a lake in the Underdark. He was taken captive by a drow. The rest of the group last week tried to catch up to him because time had passed while Colton had gotten down there. You have to remember they were at the top of this hundreds of foot cliff. Colton went off. They went to see the Duergar village and they wound their way down. So there was a time differential. What these guys did was they messed around a lot more at the top, played with chairs, yeeted their cleric, had some other stuff, played. Nobody tried to catch the cleric. They just played, hey, see if you can live. We had spider bows going down walls. We get to the bottom, and then we're doing like hide in the dark because Nerrida can't see in the dark. She's an excellent pirate and whatnot. She's really excellent at all these things, but doesn't see in the dark. So we were dousing lights while other people could, and we're hiding on shores when the Duergar start coming because what did we do? Like, didn't we make like a loud noise or a flash or something like that to kind of like alert everybody we were there?
Yeah, no, it was, we hit some sort of armor piece of metal or something like that, and it just echoed throughout the whole thing, I think. I think that's what it was like.
All I remember was it was like, oh yeah, in the stillness of this dark, it's like whatever it was echoing forth. So it was pretty impressive. They managed to let everybody know that, hey, we're here, come say hello to us, because we love you all. And sooner or later the Duergar came. They were able to chase some of them off. It was looking pretty ugly, but they decided to listen to the bubbling sounds of the water, because bubbling sounds make you think of fountains and other happy thoughts like that, but these weren't really happy thoughts. Emerging from the water came this titanic, Godzilla-sized tendrils that reached out from the dark, and a couple of people thought, oh, it's going to be some lake monster. There was a couple other good thoughts. But no, what emerged actually was B.O.S.E. And B.O.S.E. at 40 to 60 feet high comes out of the water, grabbing Duergar, flinging them out into the lake. And then as the Duergar start running, and the B.O.S.E. entity says that this entity will, I forget the exact wording that I used at the time, but basically will remove the Duergar from the equation. And
He said this entity will protect the kuo-toa from the Duergar.
I didn't know if I'd mentioned the kuo-toa, so I didn't want to give it away if I hadn't. So good. So B.O.S.E. had giant B.O.S.E., for the lack of keeping some clarity here, giant B.O.S.E. made this comment and starts going off after the Duergar, and we're, again, all four of you are there, although we will kind of what's called shadow puppet. Rembrandt and Huxley are there, but we won't see them as truly active players unless you guys get into combat and yeet them in front of everybody else. Here, guys, you be the shields. Which I don't think would make either of them very happy. But they're there with you. What do you do, B.O.S.E. and Nerrida, as you see giant B.O.S.E. marching off? In fact, I don't think we had any light source, so I don't think Nerrida, that was part of the thing, saw anything at this point because she'd been stealthing, which meant dousing the bullseye lantern, and now she's got to...
Ooh.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay. So, B.O.S.E., you see this, and Nerrida, Huxley comes up next to you, doesn't realize you can't see him at all, and goes, "Can you believe that? Wow. I've never seen anything like that before. How about you?"
I can't see shit.
"Are you blind? Would you like me to heal you?" Huxley asks.
No.
In the meantime, Bose, you and Remy are kind of like standing there slack-jawed, he's next to you. What's your reaction?
Well, at this moment, BOSE is still in his spider form, giant spider form. So it's hard to convey the pure emotions that BOSE is feeling right now. He is on the inside feeling, one, strangely excited, but at the same time, as he treats literally anybody he doesn't necessarily know, it could be a threat. So he's not going to try and get this other BOSE attention, knowing that what it could possibly do to all of us.
Remy, easily distracted, realizes you can't seem to answer him and begins talking about the effects of using a magical collar that could kind of translate a spider voice and how that might actually work, not only here but elsewhere in the world, and could actually make him a fortune. Totally distracted at that point. Nerrida, you hear this conversation of Remy babbling, and you can try and walk in that direction, or you can get your lantern lit. What are you going to be up to? What's your intent?
Stay hidden for now.
Okay. Hidden's not really an option with Huxley talking to you because he's walked over to you.
I'm
And
gonna disappear from Huxley's view.
Back to the shadows.
I'm gonna say, "What's that?" and just point, and then I'm gone.
Nerrida points in an odd direction, tries disappearing, finding that, she remembers pretty much where the rocks were, and she is really good at being stealthy, this water Genasi, and starts moving around the rocks, using her hands and whatnot to stay hidden, leaving Huxley alone. And then Huxley starts calling out, "Nerrida? Nerrida, where did you go? Guys, help me! Nerrida's blind, and I think she's wandered off."
That is so Huxley.
I'm trying. This should be
man.
Huxley's too. We need to give Huxley a kitty cat.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Jeez. Does Big BOSE hear that by any chance?
Big BOSE is continuing to walk after her, and it is like a boom. With each step, the ground is rattling, sending those shock tremors across the top of the water as Big BOSE moves along. In fact, at one point, as you look in that direction, even Nerrida can see there's some sparks actually as the stone of Big BOSE's head hits part of the cavern, and there's a crash because he got too close to. Remember, I said the walls slope in because this is a domed cavern, and he just got too close to the edges. He's heading towards the city. There's also some shouting, and then there is a tremendous boom. Colton, you hear this as well. This tremendous boom, incredibly close to you, and there's a flash in the distance.
So I'm locked in, right?
You are inside of an iron cell.
Like a brig?
Nope, iron cell with the brig, correct. Sorry, I thought you said brick. And I'm like, no, there's no
I'm in a
brick
brick,
here. It's a ship.
right?
Then I'm like, oh, you said brig. You're inside of a brig with iron bands. And the shadowy goblin in the next cell over asks you, "Why are you rattling the doors? You're a prisoner." And I need you to make an intelligence check because his voice does not sound normal, and I want to see if you realize something.
Is Charm Person still on me, or is it fallen now? Or did I get Friends? I don't really know.
Let's say
which
that
one
it
I did.
passed. Enough time has
Okay,
passed.
so because what I was planning was I was asleep,
yeah.
but-
So you've woken up to this booming sound,
and now I'm pissed, and now I'm angry.
you most certainly may be.
Okay,
Disturbs my
and
slumber.
check.
Give me an intelligence roll.
I'm
It's a
really
check,
good
so-
at these.
Wonderful. So all you know is that this goblin is talking really funny. You can barely understand his language. This fruitcake obviously did not grow up where you were in a civilized goblin community, because you can
Yeah.
only understand about half of what he's saying. You can decide what half on your own.
You want to play Let's Get Help?
Indeed. And again, you can pick out whatever words. Here to help.
All right, and then I'll start like just screaming in pain like I'm hurt and lay down on the ground.
Oh, you don't want the shadows to come. That wouldn't be good. Definitely not good, the shadows. And as he says this to you, the goblin walks through the bars next to you. And you realize that this goblin isn't quite solid. This goblin wasn't just standing in darkness. He appears to be mostly darkness. In fact, there's very little color to him at all. As he says, truly, you don't want the shadows to come. You might want to stop. There's a distant voice from up above the decks. You can recognize that it's the drow female. Or at least what you think is a female. I don't know how many elves you've been around to know there are higher pitched voices, the men from the women. But I'm guessing when you walked down with her, you probably saw enough of the figure to understand men from women.
And so it's a completely like iron cage that I'm in, not like a.
Well,
not
the bulkhead is wood. You could chop at that if you wanted to chop out.
I thought you took my weapons from me. They're outside.
They are. I did not take them, but no, you were asked to put them down, and you gracefully chose to leave them outside the brig.
All right. Can you grab things for me?
Well, what would a prisoner need with things? What do you need? Help? I can absolutely get you help. I need to find his voice exactly. I know how he talks, but I'm not in it.
If I had my sword, you would see the greatness that is Klaak.
Ah, the greatness of goblins. I remember. It's sad that the goblins are going through this right now. The fall of magic is a petty thing indeed.
Inevitable.
No, it's all the giants. It's not inevitable at all. It's definitely them. This foolishness trying for alternate magic sources and whatnot. It's destroying the flow. There'll be the death of us all. Mark my words. Hiding the night ship won't be enough. He did not refer to the night ship. He actually uses a different name. I'm sorry.
So how far away did I set my things? Can I try to reach out and grab them?
Oh no, they are out of reach. When they asked you to put them down, they weren't leaving them within your reach. And it seemed so wise at the time to do that.
Oh, it seems great. Yeah, my friends asked me to set my things down and take a rest, and I needed a rest.
Do you want me to cut away and give you a moment to think?
Yeah, I'll think about it for a minute. If this creature is crazy to me.
So, B.O.S.E and Nerrida. Again, the cavern lit up for this brief moment like a sun in the distance. There's huge, thunderous roll. And then you hear a crash as something hits the ceiling and explodes for a moment in flame over near the B.O.S.E. Something falls, and for a moment this massive, like I said, about 60-foot tall B.O.S.E, now that it's almost fully out of the water, is highlighted in light. And you can see in the distance from this flash, again, the lights of the little Kuo-toa village, and it's still moving in that direction. Parts of the ceiling have fallen where this explosion happened, and bits are falling off.
Did that explosion noise sound like cannon fire?
Oh, yes, you recognize that
Okay.
instantly. And you get a plot point for that. You know cannon fire. Nerrida knows cannons. But you're underground. It can't be a cannon. Who would bring a cannon down here?
Well, we did see a big lake.
This is true. Big water, yes.
So, Nerrida's thinking that even if they're underground, they might be connected to the ocean somehow. Does it smell like salt water down here, or does it smell like fresh water?
This would be fresh water.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You made me have to think about it there for a minute. I'm like, yeah, no, this definitely would be fresh.
Okay.
which, as you know, cuts the buoyancy of the ships too, and there's just all sorts of other
Right.
factors.
Right. Okay.
Dead water.
Did it seem like from where the explosion came from, where it hit, did it seem like they were trying to hit this entity unit thing?
The flash, you were in the process of hiding is the problem, so I don't really know how
Okay.
much you actually saw. But I know you saw a flash and you would recognize the cannon fire. Why do you keep coming back? You cannot play. You are not the dungeon master.
Look at the eyes of that cat going like, I don't care.
He's like,
I need
rocks
power.
fall. Everybody dies. Red dot. Red dot. Red dot.
TPK.
Red dot. Mwah. Nobody wants a cat as a dungeon master. You just all die.
I thought it'd be
Relentless.
awesome at first, and then as soon as you said, like, then I thought about the mentality of a cat. It's like everything gets
Yeah.
pushed off the edge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Oh, look. Are you happy?
Yeah, we
look.
wouldn't have made it past that chair point. We would have just
Fireball.
all got pushed.
Oh.
Yeah, off the cliff. Is there a string? Let's cut it and see what happens.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay, so how far is Big BOSE from say average sized BOSE?
He actually has a really good movement rate because he's so big. So you guys have just kind of been talking and watching, and he's probably almost, I'd say about 150 feet already. You'd have to start sprinting. You want to catch up. Because he's hauling butt after the duergar that we're running away.
Gotcha.
But I will say this, I don't really know if it would work, how Spider-Man-y you are. But again, you're at the edge of a curving lake, which is why you can see across the lake to the kuo-toa. I mean,
That's right.
straight lines are less than a curved line. I don't know how you can do that. Maybe you've got flight. Maybe somebody could yeet you the whole distance. You know,
Is there perhaps maybe? Oh, it's a curve. It's a dome-like, right? How far would you say is the ceiling from where I'm at? Because I think I remember myself still on that wall hiding.
yeah.
So
And the
how-
wall
how
goes
far is-
right up. Yeah. So it's all part of the same curve. It's stalactites.
Oh,
it's
it's
not
all-
a perfect dome. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so would you say that I'd be able to shoot a web to the ceiling, no problem?
Well, you're pretty much on the wall towards it. No, because the ceiling's like 150 feet up. man.
Okay.
It's like,
There's
that's
no
up there.
stalagmites or nothing like that? Just like...
Yeah, there's all sorts. Again, you're on the edge of a wall that curves in. There's stuff that you can shoot to and start swinging, and yeah, be amazing.
I'm trying. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do some spectacular spider stuff. I kind of want to get closer to Big BOSE somehow because I'm still intrigued. So if I could, I'd like to swing maybe into that direction of Big BOSE.
Well, now, since BOSE is such a unique rock and vine entity, we should probably ask the question, which we've never asked. Do you actually shoot webs, or do you shoot like vines and like creepy crawly,
Ooh.
are your webs actually made of like leaves and vines and stuff like that?
Now that you say that, I want to. Yes, they're not like organic, like regular
Okay.
spider webs. It's almost like, okay, so you know how in swamps
Moss?
there's like this. Yes, there's that weird sticky like moss in the swamp. Is
Yep.
like that.
Yeah, that's kind of
It-
what I was thinking of. I was like, it just kind of shoots out and you get this spray or
Yeah.
whatever. So, yeah, because spider, we got to give you the abilities of the creature, but we had agreed in advance that they would all be, twisted by the BOSE entity. So
Right.
there you go. Out comes this green stuff, and the next thing you spring off the wall, but it hangs on with its little viney suction stuff, and you go sailing off, Spider-Man. If only Nerrida could see it. And then Huxley, who's distracted, seeing you swing away, goes, "Wow!" And I never thought I'd see that either. Nerrida! Hey, there's a spider out here. Hey, Remy! And Remy's still talking. He's like, "Whoa, boy, he should have told me he was leaving. If only I'd have made that collar." Huxley, come here! And those two start talking to one another. And Nerrida, you can hear them talking, and you can probably surmise that Spider BOSE has left you.
Okay. Well, I'm in a bit of a predicament. Because I don't know whether to, I don't know what Spider BOSE is gonna get up to, but he's gonna. That's a good question. The duergar that came here, did they leave on their ship? On their little rowboat? So there's still a rowboat. Okay. The duergar, you said some of them were coming across the water from a rowboat. You said they stepped out of the rowboat with splashes and...
Hey, Sean. Sorry, Sean. Apparently, chat's saying that you're muted again.
I keep doing that because when I want to type to the chat, which I was trying to do, I mute myself. So the question was about the rowboats, and what I was explaining, chat, and I'll truncate it, was that there was no rowboat. Stranger asked correctly. She goes, but you said they came from across the water. I did. But it's the same way as I was talking to Herec, because you can see across the water to the Kuo-toa village, so they came along the curve as they were coming up, which is also why they were out of sight at first when they were coming in, because they were following the shoreline, getting closer to you.
Okay.
When you finally heard
I could have
them.
sworn there was a boat involved, but okay.
If there is, and chat can remember it, then there will be a boat, and I will gladly give you 5 plot points on top of it, as well as some inspiration to chat. I mean, I'm always down with that. Come on, I'm not perfect. Let there be a boat. In fact, chat, does anybody want to see a boat in here? Because if you want a boat, we'll make a boat. It's a game, people. We have fun with this. Spicy, love you. Sean is muted.
I just remember the vivid imagery of them stepping out of the boat and making the splashing noise. That's what stuck
You
in my
know
head.
what?
So.
Murky Mira, boat it is. Oh, and even Samurai just said the same thing. So there you go. Everybody's down with the boat. There's a rowboat there. Okay. If it wasn't theirs, it's somebody else's. So take it.
Okay. If it wasn't there, totally cool. I could just think of something else. But if there is this little rowboat here, I would know because I heard it. I don't know where it is because I can't see it.
I pictured you doing like the Iceman thing. Shape water, ice. Shape water, ice. Shape water, ice. I'm
not trying to draw more attention to myself. I'm trying to be sneaky. Trying to be sneaky about it. So I'm going to kind of face palm at the two that are talking and not being sneaky. I'm going to sneak over to them and I'm going to spook them by just poking their shoulders and then not being behind them when they look. Just because I'm a little dramatic bitch like that. And
even though it's dark, you absolutely can do this because you're used to listening for people when you have to walk around in the dark. So I do want you to make a dexterity roll to see if you trip on anything that's in the way, just because that'll be kind of funny if you do.
Sure.
You know, because you know they'll love that if that happens to you.
I don't.
Yes. You would have tripped, but you know what? You not only don't trip, when you put your feet on the stones, you're like, oh, you go into super stealth mode and you don't even make a sound. Next thing, you're right up behind them while Huxley and B.O.S.E are talking. And what exactly do you say? Or do you touch them?
I poke their shoulders and then I kind of like duck around so I'm not behind them so I can be that annoying asshole who's not there when they look. And then and then I'm going to tell them, okay, so did you see where B.O.S.E went off to?
Remy screams like a little girl, jumps into Huxley's arms. Huxley holds him like, what the heck's going on? And they look over, see you and whatnot, who are, now talking to them. And, Huxley puts him down and says, it's okay, Remy. And Remy's like, oh, I just was seeing how healthy you were and whatnot. Yeah, they went that, you didn't see that? You need light. And then he starts taking his dagger and putting a light spell on it again for you. Since he can do that. I don't think he's limited.
Okay. All right.
And he takes out this knife that he got from the tavern that he stole.
Yeah.
Puts a light on it, which is not a dagger at all. It's just this cheap little dinner knife. And now it has a light spell for you on it. Or whatever the heck the artificer can do. I know it's something like that for
I know that he can do that much because we've done it before. And I'm going to say, okay, so we should follow B.O.S.E. Where did B.O.S.E go?
You can still see the lights from the Kuo-toa village. They point out in that direction down around the shore. And in the hint of this light, you can also see the edge of a rowboat when you're looking down the shore that way that they got out of.
Okay.
They must have been wanting to take the fastest route, but now they're stuck taking the longer route running along the shore. We'll cut back now while you think over to Colton, Klaak, inside of a cell with his shadowy goblin friend. Bag of sentient eggs.
I need to get back to the friends. I was leading them through here. What do you... The shadows? You say I should watch for them? Are they on the ship?
Well, they're wherever she is. She's a real... And he uses a word that sounds goblin, but you're not sure you've ever heard it before when he refers to this Syndra. But when he says the name Syndra, it rolls off his tongue with the most vileness, all that he can summon into it. But the more you look at him in the lights of the lanterns that are hanging here below the ship, and you realize something about these lanterns also, you've seen things like this before, the lanterns in the ship don't have flames in them. They're just glowing. So they're magic of some sort. They waver a little bit like a flame, but not in the same way. They're putting off far too much light to just be a regular flame.
All right. I'm tired of this, and I'm going to try to break the door open with my hands. And just go like into a little goblin rage.
You can absolutely try. You're literally just shaking on it, or anything specific you're trying for?
Like leverage, I guess. Like you're trying to break open an old Western jail cell.
Okie doke. So
If
go
I could
for
use
it.
the bed or whatever, probably just throwing shit at it though.
I love it. Make yourself a strength roll.
Oh.
And as you're literally like shaking on this thing, you realize not only how well it's made, but the ghostly or the shadowy dark goblin next to you comes up and he goes, "What would you expect? This was made by dwarves. You know, it was the mountain dwarves when they were created. You know, he was. That was the whole point of when the giants created them, that they would work with the metal and the earth. Do you think it would be done that easily?" He goes, "But, you know, only the smartest goblins, when we put this ship together, would know all the things." He goes, "Clearly, where are you from? I haven't seen you in any of the great cities before, have I? Have we ever sailed to your city? Are you one of the mountain goblins?"
I would think that I have not. I would try to find where the mountain goblins are.
I'm laughing because that phrase in the chat, click clack, that's like Plotter's inspiration for sure. That's just like, I'm sorry, that totally earned click clack. He says, "Well, you know, there are many different cities, but there's only one city in the mountains where we gather and where we go." He goes, "High up above all of this." He goes, "That way we could look out over the north and all those foolish warring individuals there. Those without civilization."
I think I could learn a lot from you, but I don't know if I would retain it.
He goes, "Well, now you honor me." He goes, "My goodness, how long has it been? At least a year or two that this Syndra has been in charge here." He goes, "You know what? Make a persuasion roll for me. Let's see if you can charm this guy naturally."
Oh man, here we go.
I know, I'm picking all your worst things except for strength, which you just happen to get a bad roll. Oh man!
Nice.
Wow.
Pure clack.
He goes, "If only you weren't a prisoner." He goes, "Prisoners have to stay in the brig." He goes, "That's what we made this for." He goes, "You know, for those that violate the rules of the captain." Let's see.
I don't know that I violated any rules.
Well, then why else would you be in the brig? Certainly they wouldn't throw a fine goblin in the brig for no reason. You must have done something wrong. Clearly didn't stand your post. Clearly, were you afraid in battle? Is that why they took your weapons from you?
Never.
You can tell old Rocknock.
Hey, Rocknock. Oh, that's a good name. Rocknock,
Rock! Can you not even say my name? Has the language slipped where in your people? You are not from any of the major cities. And now you realize what you weren't catching on to earlier. he's speaking some archaic form of Goblin. And I mean archaic, not like just a different dialect from a different tribe. His words are too big. They're not simple. They're elongated. He draws them out like foolish humans do. It's ugly. It's long.
No, I think the Sandred, she thinks that I killed duergar, but I work with the duergar all the time. It's some kind of misunderstanding.
He goes, duergar, and he seems to think for a minute. He goes, oh, those dwarves that aren't dwarves. Yes, those are the, oh, he goes, how the drow have twisted them. He goes, those dark things. Oh, he goes, and you work with them? Why would you work with such an ugly thing?
I don't have many friends. I've only have what I know, and I've just been trying to uncover what I can find from my people again.
He places a hand on your back, and as he does, patting your back in friendship, you feel cold seep off of him, numbing your back as he tries to pat you gently, and it's like, oh, it's like numbing you and not good, almost like you feel weak where he touches you. And then he draws his hand back. He says, don't worry. Every goblin has a friend. No goblin was ever made to be alone. You deserve a happy friend. Rocknack will be your friend and your ally, even though you're here in the brig. He goes, you shouldn't have upset Captain Undonovan.
Probably, that's true.
He goes, and
I
I know
upset a lot of people, though.
Captain Undonovan was a good pick. When I picked Captain Undonovan, I knew he could run a ship well. I knew he would take care of us and protect all the goblin assets. You know, I'll have a word with him when I see him next.
I'd appreciate that a lot. At least to get to say my story to them.
Yes, well, every goblin story should be told. And I don't believe the lies that our story is ending, that all will come to a close now. It could never happen. Our empire is too great. The world would never suffer the loss of goblins.
No truer thing could be said.
He goes, and he reaches over, walks across, and pats the hull. Oh, I just realized I'm still on the Roll20 thing here. Pats the hull of the ship. Yes, occasionally you got to kind of look at the screen too. Pats the hull of the ship and says, he goes, it's as sure as the ship. It will last for eternity.
It's a creepy thing for a ghost to say.
We'll give you a moment to think of how you want to try and twist him to get him to your advantage. B.O.S.E and Nerrida, you've got a boat in front of you. You've got a ship in the distance. Screaming duergar running away, and another footfall of B.O.S.E, the giant, as he moves down the
I thought
shoreline.
B.O.S.E was following the other B.O.S.E unit.
Yeah. I'm doing my Amazing Spider-Man stuff.
Thank you for
Which
that.
is why I asked Huxley and Remy where B.O.S.E went.
And they point off towards the big B.O.S.E.
Okay. And he's going through the water, the big B.O.S.E?
To
this
Well, he
village?
was going to the shoreline to chase the duergar, and now he's kind of chasing them along the shoreline.
Okay.
He's got big steps, but they have, even though they're dwarves, they have more agility than him. It's kind of like putting a halfling in there with a giant-sized creature. They're kind of running around trying to stay out of his reach and whatnot,
Okay.
even though he's shooting out vines left and right, and you're hearing screams. And you know what? We're just going to say that you guys can hear it anyway. There's occasionally a splash as he catches one and throws it into the water, like
Okay.
hundreds of feet out into the water.
Okay. I'm going to pull in the rowboat and gesture for Remy and Huxley to get in.
They follow suit immediately. Huxley's like,
And
don't really like the water that much. Remy's like,
oh well, too bad. Get in. And push the boat off, and then give one of the oars to Huxley and say, "Just start rowing. We're following B.O.S.E."
They immediately start going, and with his strength, Huxley is like almost too strong. You end up having to give him kind of the oars and like at the same time, but you actually make some great speed. And because they're going along the shore, and because B.O.S.E is fighting, which is slowing him down as well as he tries to capture these things, you can choose to either try to catch up to him or get ahead of him towards the Kuo-toa village. Which would you like? Captain Nerrida.
I'm going to just follow at a distance. I don't want to get too close to this
Okay.
creature.
So you're going to stay close to the shore? Following them?
A little bit away from the shore, but following
Okay.
still.
Easy enough. Said is done. In the meantime, there's another cannon blast. And let me roll to see if they hit. This one would have hit, but BOSE just happened to be grabbing the last of the duergar, flinging it out, and he flings it over your head, and the duergar splashes into the water and goes down. Woof. BOSE, you are shooting web. Are you limited on how much web you can use?
No.
Okay.
I am not.
So
But so BOSE would like to somehow speak to this other BOSE, but he kind of wants to, if he can, swing onto the shoulder of Big BOSE to kind of speak in where his ear would be, essentially, if there was an ear. If he can do that, of course.
So you're going to go try to catch up to BOSE, get down, and you know you don't have ears. There's just it's like having a mouth. You don't have a mouth. It's
Yeah.
like somehow you just speak. But you go down, land, knowing that, you're like, well, as long as I'm within range, he should be able to hear me, as long as I can project. But you're a spider, so are you transforming back? Is that what I'm understanding?
As soon as I get footing on him, yes, I want
Okay.
to transfer back.
I just wanted to make sure you weren't trying to put one over. Hey, I can't speak here, but now I can speak. You know,
Oh, no.
Remy made me a collar.
We have telepathy. What?
Didn't I tell you that all BOSE can communicate instantly? And for all you players, you all have inspiration. Chat gave you inspiration. So if you see a roll coming
Thank
up,
you.
they were like, boom, we've
Chat?
adjusted the plotter's inspiration since chat is so active tonight. Use it. You know, again, it's there for you. Call it before you make a roll when it's important. Getting back on his shoulders, you instantly wrap your vines into his. And what do you say?
Greetings, brethren. This entity means you no harm, only wishes to aid.
What you did?
Now, let me ask you a question, BOSE. What would you do if you heard a voice like yours in your head? Okay,
Strange, I seem to
you're-
echo.
So this entity stops for a second, right, and starts spinning around in the cavern trying to look for where this voice is that it thinks is in the back of its head, but sounds like him. It doesn't immediately attack itself, but it's like spinning around, having thrown the last duergar anyway, and you hear this crash, splash, creating waves across what otherwise is a still lake, because there's no wind here again. You know, it's a dead lake. And, you know, as he's doing this, or what appears to be a dead lake, it's actually not dead, but it appears that way. What happened to my graphics? I did not touch anything. I'm literally talking to all of you.
Whoa.
And
Did we
Nerrida
lose Nerrida?
disappeared and Klaak disappeared. Oh, I know exactly why. We lost Nerrida on Zoom. I do
Yeah.
screen grabs.
I bet
And
they'll
so-
join back up.
Well, yeah, when she comes back, I'm not going to adjust anything. I'm going to wait for her to come back in.
I'll just go like this.
Just you
get
a
plot
little
point.
forehead in.
2 plot points for that as you, like, lean away from the goblin that's touching you and be like, I'm just going to stand next to the bars
We
here.
didn't lose Nerrida. We gained.
You are both. He's like, now I'm a goblin. Now I'm a Genasi.
It looks
Now
so
we
great
got-
on stream too.
Her first time as captain, and she abandons the ship. Oh my gosh. All her players need to hold that against her in game.
Oh man.
Be like, we made you a captain, and then you abandoned ship.
Nerrida is now
And I can
swimming
say
off.
all this because she's not here to hear me right now. I don't think she goes back and watches the recording, so I'm safe. Just kidding. Let's see. So it's spinning around. It says, go ahead.
Okay, well, I wanted to say one more thing, but this time I actually want to say it in Druidic, thinking, well, he's like me, so this might be another form of communication. So in Druidic, I would say,
Become. I wish to mean you no harm. Be calm.
And you hear the voice echo across the cavern. In fact, you can hear it if you happen to be listening, Colton, even inside the ship. Obviously, Nerrida, Remy, and Huxley can as well. As the voice echoes out, and it says, this entity speaks to itself. It doesn't seem to... You don't know if it actually heard you or not in Druidic because it doesn't calm down at all. But it's like this entity is speaking to itself. This entity... And the vines and tendrils from its arms start lashing out towards the thing, trying to fan around it, figuring out what's going on, almost like it's whether it's losing its balance or whether it's confused. And I'm just double checking that she should be able to enter automatically. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. My friends are on their way. I can hear BOSE now.
That's good.
The Rockneck looks at you and says, BOSE and arrow. I hear no combat starting. I hear no arrows hitting the ship. We are not in combat. Wait,
BOSE normally
does the captain call for combat? Did I mishear it? I must go and check immediately. And with that, he starts moving away from you through the bars towards the steps leading up.
Wait, let me help too. I will prove my honor.
It turns around, thinks for a moment, and says, if we're under attack, we'll need every goblin. The captain will surely support this. He comes back, moves over towards the lock, and in his hand you see a shadowy key go into the lock, turn it, and you hear click, 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 and it moves back, and it's opened up.
Nice. All right.
Well
played. Did they move my things?
No, they're all still sitting there. They didn't expect you. You can't get out of this.
I'll start donning everything that I have. I think it'll take me a little while.
Okay. Yeah, it takes, if you're donning armor, and I don't remember if you're wearing armor, it's 10 minutes.
It's the quill jacket, so I think it takes.
Oh no,
heavy armor.
That's a piece of clothing. You can throw that thing on unless you're putting it on inside out and trying to kill yourself again. That would take longer. That hurts. But if you're just wearing it like a coat, you can do that as you go.
Okay. Yeah. And then I'm gonna try to hide and sneak out of the ship.
The shadowy entity, which is already at the top of the stairs, looks at you as you're kind of like creepily coming downstairs. He goes, "Come, combat! We must respond now. Do not cower. Sally forth!"
Right, I'm coming. Here I come. And I continue to try to hide and sneak away.
Rockneck looks and goes, "Oh, this must be why he put you into the brig in the first place. I'm coming, Captain. I sally forth and come to you." And then he rushes off towards where you can see as clearly. And you remember when you were charmed and whatnot, the way they brought you down. And he's going towards the main way up onto the main deck. You're on a second floor of the ship, which, again, you were down in the brig, which is the nasty area, down where the water is, the bilge and whatnot. It's not pretty down there. But on this area, it's kind of like the main living areas, and you can see cots and other things. There's plenty to steal here if you want to stop and start pillaging and looting.
I think I'm trying to look for like a porthole, like somewhere to get out. Like
there
if
are
there's any
cannon
port windows
ports.
or cannon ports.
This has actually 4 down each side. It's an 8 cannon ship, so not huge in the way of armament. Clearly, it looks like it could probably carry more than it is built for war.
So I think I would know that if you're firing cannons, they would go one direction, and I've been hearing the cannon shots go off the one way.
I don't know that you've ever experienced cannons before. It's totally up to you and your background. I guess
I'm thinking more like I hear explosives going off from one side of the ship, and what I don't know is whether or not that's the way I need to jump out to get back to land, or if it's the right way, the way that I wouldn't hear explosions.
The explosions you heard did not come from this deck. You know that they were higher up and towards the end of the ship where the shadow goblin just ran to. Okay.
That's my intent, is to find porthole, jump out towards land.
Okay, you figure you're strong enough. You figure you can push out a cannon and just go right out into the water through here.
Just push the cannon out? Okay.
Yeah, you can get it off to the side and get through the hole.
Okay.
You're goblin-sized. You can do it.
And then, yeah, I'll just start heading back to where I last saw everybody, back up the hill, thinking that they would come down the path to the
One
duergar.
big woof. You pull the chalk,
Excuse me.
let it roll, and then all of a sudden, woof, you're out the window with a splash. Welcome back, Captain Nerrida. Your crew is still in the boat.
Okay.
There has been a lot of loud shouting by the creature and waves coming because it thinks that it's talking to itself, and you don't have any light to see, of course, but when it blocks the light, I mean, because your little 5-foot dagger ain't shining all the way to it, but when it blocks the light of the Kuo-toa village, you can see it moving around clearly, and you're used to waves and whatnot, so you know the direction. But then there's another loud boom, and you recognize cannon fire come out, but now you can actually see that it's coming from a ship, and you see it's not like cannon fire that you've seen before. It literally comes out like a flaming comet ball flying up. And this one, let me see if it hits.
Okay.
No, because it's spinning so wildly, it would have hit, but it's spinning wildly out of control, and the cannon, this flaming comet, goes by it, strikes what was that massive stalactite with the bridge on it that you guys were in between before, and it's a critical strike on that, bringing the entire thing down. And this stalactite is massive, such that it could have held an entire many houses within it. The stalactite comes down with a crash, snapping the bridge, snapping another bridge that it was attached to, hitting the water with a tremendous woof, sending out a wave and hurling you in the boat further and farther till you're next to this smashing BOSE. You were nice and far out in the water, but when this one came down, it's moved you closer, and you hear it bellowing, BOSE, you are on top of giant BOSE. What are you doing?
Okay, wonderful. So, first of all, can we see where this cannon fire is coming from, like exactly the origin of it?
You absolutely can. You don't need to roll or anything, because when it lights up this front of this flash, it's lighting up the entire ship.
Wonderful. Okay. So since BOSE that can't seem to bring Big BOSE to the same page as, like, oh, clearly there's two beings here, BOSE is actually going to roll with the I'm a voice in your head. And I'd like to try and, what is it called? I guess coerce Big BOSE into thinking I'm its conscience, and it must destroy this ship. So,
how well would you respond to that? And what would you have to say to yourself?
And that's a good question. Oh, perfect. Okay. BOSE is going to say, what is it? How do you pronounce it? The kuo-toa, right?
Yep.
Kuo-toa? Okay.
Fish people.
Wonderful.
And you know them.
Mm-hmm. So BOSE is going to go ahead and say,
Never mind. The kuo-toa are under attack. We must protect them. Destroy that ship. We must protect them.
The entity immediately starts righting itself and says, this entity will defend the kuo-toa. This entity will protect it, and starts marching off towards the ship. Klaak, you have just dived into the water, and the ship starts, rocking in the waters. In fact, the dock that it's at with the kuo-toa is made so cruddily. It's more made for these little round rafts that you're swimming by. They look like pot bulls in the water. And you're swimming by them, and you're seeing fish people. You've been down here before, so you might have met them before. I don't know. You didn't meet them with BOSE. That was him on his own.
I don't think that I'd have met them then.
Okay, so you're seeing these two-legged fish people walking around, some on the dock, screaming, running around, blah, 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 as they go up to each other, and it's like watching minions afraid, as they kind of run and bump into each other. Some fall off the deck. Some are rowing their boats in a literal circle, spinning in a circle. Others are just diving into the water and swimming. Some are running for the land, and you're like, aren't you fish? Shouldn't you be in the sea? But they're running towards the water, and they're all coming closer. Nobody seems to want to be near this boat, although you do see that up on that dock that is slowly falling apart, there were a couple pillars, and you can see that some of these fish have been hooked up there. These fish have been roped up there as if being tortured or killed. You can't even tell if they're alive in the confusion as some of these jump off on the same pier as this massive black ship, which now you can see again, and you're like, this thing just doesn't belong down here. It's got black lacquered wood and all this other stuff. And the sails appear to be made of, you would swear, spider web with massive black spiders in the middle of it. And you're like, there's no wind down here. But you can see them rolled down, which you wouldn't do at a port, but they are. So this thing just does not fit here on any level. On any level. It's like a snowball in the middle of Miami. It just does not fit. Who knows if it'll last. The entity comes over, starts smashing forward, and with one massive rocks in its hand, which, BOSE, you now realize, like we talked about stalactites and different types of rock, which you're totally familiar with, its arm is partially a massive stalactite that has wrapped vines around it. And it brings this whole thing down right towards the ship in this massive thing. Go ahead and make an attack roll, please. And because it's a non-moving ship, it's a really low AC. So basically you have to botch and take out Klaak to fail this roll. Let me turn on roll 20 so everybody can see your roll and laugh along if you botch and kill Klaak. That'll be an entirely different thing to click.
God. What is it? What am I rolling for that? It's
straight strength-based attack roll, and you can give it like plus 10.
Plus 10.
It's a 60-foot tall giant BOSE against an unmoving target.
Jesus. Okay. So that's going to be a 24 then.
Yeah, this stalactite comes
10 on the 13.
crushing down, and I would like you to roll 8d12 damage.
Oh, 8d12. Oh, jeez.
Well, it's doing basically what you would do, and you feel it as the vines have tightened, and it's cracking some of its own rocks.
Is this a d12? Let's see.
You know exactly what it's doing as the vines are becoming more energized.
Is that a d12? Okay, so that's one. Okay, let me just
type in 8d12 or /r space 8d12, and it'll do all of them at once for you.
I'm doing it through D&D Beyond, and I just rolled everything
perfect.
right now, so
Sweet.
that should. So add 7 to that, 57.
Wow. Look at that. So 64 points of damage. The stalactite comes down, ripping through part of the sail, smashing the top of the main mast, going into the deck, shattering it. And as the arm hits it, you see, because you got a pretty darn good persuasion, make a persuasion roll for me, because you're already seeing something, but I want to see how many details I give you on this.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, we'll see about persuasion.
Persuasion or perception?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant
You
perception.
mean perception?
Re-roll
Perception?
it. My
Oh,
bad.
thank God.
Totally. I am. Wrong word came out of my mouth. I knew it.
I just
Thank
thought
you.
I didn't know if
I
you
was
were
like-
taking more control of the big bows, or you were saying he was seeing something on the ship.
Yeah, no. When I was talking about seeing things, thank you for that, Colton. Take a plot point for that as well. Yeah, wrong word came out of my mouth. Word salad. Wow. So fantastic roll by BOSE. Crushing down the ship. You see what you're like. It's a trick of the light left over from the fire because the ship's got some lanterns on it. And you're like, oh, it's a trick of the light, these shadows and whatnot. But oh no, you're like, no, these shadows are coming straight up the vines. And they look almost like they're moving like people rapidly fast, running up the vines, up the arm of BOSE towards the head. And more than that, you're seeing, remember I talked about the vines growing stronger and energizing as they wrap around and crack the stones inside it. You're seeing where they're running, the vines wither away.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay.
And
I
want to leave you in the climax of oh no.
Okay.
Let's get back to Nerrida. I like leaving people in the oh no, the oh shit.
Oh god.
No,
It's the cliffhanger. Nerrida. Captain
Okay.
Nerrida.
So I'm still telling Huxley where to row. I was still like, just follow, just come. Oh, that's a big rock. Because I can just see the outline of it based on the lights from the village.
Yeah, and you can especially see something now because it was spinning all around. Your waves pushed you towards it with the falling of the stalactite. And this thing reached out and smashed into something in front of it. You're on the back side of it and whatnot. But as the mast falls over, carrying a sail with it, you realize that the cannon that, again, before you saw a ship, it's attacking a ship and has just smashed down a huge sail into the water and whatnot. Devastating blows.
Okay. Okay. Do I see BOSE on BOSE's shoulder?
No,
With
because
the
it's way
outlines of
too
the
dark up
lights?
there and he's got no lights around him.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then, Oh man, choices. Oh man.
I should say for our viewers, I always allow my players also to pass to give them time to think. They're never stuck. They can be like Colton, take it. That way you have time to think if you need it.
Yeah. I think I'm just having us kind of following after and just seeing what's going on because I just want to see what's happening. And
you're trying
at
to
the
get
very
yourself
least-
into a better spot so you can see better. Huxley's obeying, and
Yeah.
you realize Remy's kind of terrified, and he's in the water pulling towards the shore as Huxley's actually going out into the deeper water where it appears to be safer since all this smashing. And you now notice that there appears to be maybe people in the water because you can see the top of the water with lots of splashing and things moving around in it off there in the lights of the Kuo-toa village. We know it's Kuo-toa, but you can't tell that out yet. It's just way too dark. But Huxley is making a strength roll. He's pulling away, but Remy ain't helping. Remy's like, get me to the shore, man. He's like done beating the ship and whatnot. And you're saying going out to get a better view. But you do manage over the next couple rounds, Huxley following your directions, to see that this massive BOSE has smashed into the ship, broken through the top deck, through part of the hull. And you can see that while it's a large ship, it's not well armed. So you know this isn't a combat ship per se. You can also tell that the cannon that was attacking isn't a combat cannon. It's a signaling cannon, a very small one at the front of the ship.
Okay. How close are we to this ship? How far away are we from this ship? The big ship?
Probably about 80 yards. Less than a football field. Because we're circling
Okay.
around the giant BOSE to get a view.
I'm gonna
Probably
start-
a little bit less towards the mast. Let's call it 60 yards to get to the mast that's in the water.
Okay.
And the floating spider web.
Okay. I'm gonna have Huxley slowly start rowing our way towards the ship, but slowly so we can just watch what's going on, and that's what I want to be doing for the moment.
Perfect. Great intentions. Huxley obeys you. Huxley's got it going on. Huxley's like, we're bonding. This is so wonderful, Nerrida. Remy's like, get me out of here.
Yes, it is one to keep rowing. Remy, stop trying to get us back to shore. You're not gonna get anything like that.
Filly full. Klaak is amidst all this, and suddenly you see the ship smashed by big BOSE. What do you do, buddy? What's your thoughts?
So I'm on the dock, and the dock's like falling apart. I start trying to run back into like the duergar village. So I'm gonna go out like back to town.
Do you leap over the kuo-toa that have fallen? Do you kick them out of your way? What do you do? Any of the kuo-toa that
So
are...
is any like okay? So what I was seeing is like on the ship there were hung up kuo-toa, or like on the docks. There's
Two on the
some-
docks.
some.
Number on the
Two on
ship.
the docks. I think I would free them if they were right there then. So I'll try to like free the two kuo-toa.
Okay, taking a moment
But if
while
they're
it's
up
all
on the
smashing.
ship-
Go ahead and make what would be a good roll for that? You think? Let's give you a roll for the night. You need to have something to roll. Make a wisdom roll. It's not your strong suit,
about
but for the
smash?
easiest way. If not, you
What
just
a
can rage at it.
smashing roll.
Smashing roll. Forget the wisdom. He's like, I'm not untying these things. Go ahead and make 2 smashing rolls to cut these cruddy racks down that have the fish on them.
There we go.
There you go. Smash, smash. Both the kuo-toa fall down, splatting themselves partially on the thing, and now you can just pick them up with your strength, dragging them along. They're still lashed to these things, but you're a warrior, man. No time for that. You grab, pull in each hand. You've got your sword magically, like, kind of still in one hand. You're dragging it. I don't know. Whatever. You figure it
I
out.
have no idea.
However it is, man, you Klaakify Barbarian drag these guys all the way to the shore, where the kuo-toa, they're like, whoa, with their big, lidless eyes as they kind of look at you and come over to you and start touching you with fin heads and whatnot. And they'll partially cover your face and your teeth and, and then some of them run over to the ones that are tied to the wood. And they start, spitting up little bubbles. In fact, one or two actually leave little bubbles in the air as they speak and release their brethren. Some of the other ones are coming around you and, pointing with their little fins towards the actual ship that's being attacked and pointing towards Big B.O.S.E. And you realize that some of their bubbles are actually like B.O.S.E, instead of bubbly. It's like B.O.S.E. B.O.S.E, make me another damage roll, please.
Yes. All right. What do we got today? What else?
As this thing continues to smash.
All right, so that's going to be a 22 then.
That hits. Do me some damage.
Damage. Oh,
Now-
jeez. Is it those D12s again?
You got it, buddy.
All right. 8 of them?
Yeah. 8 of them.
All right. Let's see.
In the meantime, Sinjar and the shadows are going to get their attacks too. Don't forget, that indicates that you got max dice and dice explode in our game. So that means you're getting to re-roll some of those.
Oh, okay.
Remember?
Loading
It's one of the reasons why you actually want to see the roll, not just the total.
Yeah.
Because we use exploding dice. So.
Man.
I think if you
Jeez,
hold
I don't-
over that thing, it'll still pop up for you, right?
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
You got one more.
1? All right.
Yeah.
Sweet. Roll. Okay.
Okay. Smash again. The other arm comes down into part of the ship. In the meantime, the shadows that are coming up the arm end up sapping part of the strength, freezing part of the vines, and one whole arm comes off of this massive B.O.S.E, losing the stalactite that was in it. That doesn't mean they drop off. They've gotten to the shoulder and part of the body now, and they're freezing more of it as these 4 separate shadow entities are rushing up towards the chest and the head where you are. And whatnot. In the meantime, the other arm has come down on top of the ship, smashing into it, and slowly he's drawing back his vines to make another attack with the stones in it.
Well, B.O.S.E is going to... Clearly, he's seeing this more than the big B.O.S.E. So B.O.S.E is gonna try and say,
We must dive. We must dive into the water.
hopefully it listens, but
That's going to require a persuasion roll. He's not just going to go along with
Alright.
that one. He's like smashing duergar, killing this. You know, that made sense. Dive into the water, preserve self. What? Oh, I'm thinking it's kind of against him. I forgot to set a DC, so I'm going to be fair and just roll a dice. And I roll a 3. So, yeah, that's what happens when your DM forgets to set a DC and just goes for a dice roll. It agrees with you as Sinjar uses the cannon again to blast this thing point blank. The shadows are attacking Giant B.O.S.E right now, ripping parts of him off. The cannon blast cannot miss at this range. I'm sorry. I will roll and see if I get a 1. No, I got an 8. It hits.
okay, fair enough.
So this thing's going to take some massive damage between the shadows and that. It rocks backwards, being hit by the full front of this signaling cannon, which is fire, which starts burning up the front of B.O.S.E. And you know how much pain it must be in because, yeah, you are straight susceptible to fire. You do not do well with fire. And it starts running up the tendrils of this creature. And the B.O.S.E is like, this entity is burning through the water, and starts staggering back towards them. Fortunately, where Huxley and the ship have been like going around you on the far side to get to the mast. Go ahead and I'm gonna have Huxley. Who wants to roll for Huxley? Nobody wants to roll Huxley. Nerrida, you want to roll for Huxley? You're the captain. Nerrida's rolling for Huxley. Go ahead and make a dexterity-based roll. It's not acrobatics or anything because you're just trying to control the ship. He does not have water travel, and Big B.O.S.E is rolling to accidentally smash you. You've got to
Okay.
outroll him. Dexterously get around. as it tries to dive like right where you're at.
Okay. Let's see. Hux's dex is just a +1. So that's a 13.
You dexterously move to the side. BOSE does this kind of belly flop leap trying to get into the deeper water, and unfortunately does not totally clear the boat, smashing part of your little rowboat, sending all 3 of you into the water. Anybody with metal in the water is doomed. I know you're a water Genasi. This isn't an issue for you. But
Yeah.
Huxley and we don't got to really worry too much about Remy. Remy's not in armor. Remy ain't got nothing. He's got some
Remy's
pieces
got
of
a lot of
armor. His
metal
metal.
in his bag.
He was so happy. Oh my gosh! And his metal is now dragging him to the bottom.
Yeah, my first instinct is to go for Remy and try to drag him up with me, if I can.
You can
'Cause
absolutely
I don't
help.
know if Huxley can swim or not, but Huxley, I don't think is Huxley in metal armor.
Chainmail.
I don't think is Huxley in chainmail.
Let me look
I
at
think so.
his sheet equipment. The equipment is not filled out on this, so.
Oh, I thought they had somebody helping her with that. I know she was struggling.
They we had this storm in Texas.
Yeah, that's
a
right.
couple of days, and so it didn't happen on those days. And I was asking if she could do it another day, and then it was like an animating thing. So it was just a scheduling thing.
No worries. No worries. It's all good. So we're just gonna assume that she's in a heavy armor for the moment, and Huxley is going down. Huxley's like, ooh, bloop, bloop, bloop. A lot of weight in water does not work well. Water is the death of
Okay.
almost all players in D&D.
Then what I want to do is, as I grab Remy, do I see where Huxley is? I see Huxley go over anyway.
Yeah. But
Can I
you're going to be
react quick
struggling
enough
with
to
Remy
try to
because
make an
Remy's
ice
trying to.
block?
Sorry, say that again.
Can I react quickly enough to try to make a jagged ice block for Huxley to hold on to, since ice floats with shape water?
You can absolutely do, I think, what is it, like 5 cubic feet of water you can do.
Yeah,
and
I'm
you
not
can
making
turn
it a perfect cube, though. I'm going to make it, like, kind of jagged so he has ways to grab it.
Yeah. You're kind of like making a little platform that he can sit on, whatever else. You can make it under him and ice floats.
Yeah, part of it's going to be, like, under him, pushing him up. So it's going to be, like, under his chest to push him up, and then he can, like, scrabble to hold on to it.
There you go. Which also might help you because you can do that twice, as you know. You can have 2 that will exist.
That'll help me pull Remy up, too, I think. And give Remy something to hold on to, since I don't know if he can swim or not.
Which is really important because Remy didn't want to give up his armor, and Remy wasn't trying really to swim so much as he was trying to hang on to his armor and just hope for the best. But a moment later, these 2 little ice floats pop up, supporting each of them. And those will last for, I think, a few minutes, if I remember, or an hour. It's quite a while it lasts.
Yeah.
So those of you who don't use shape water, use it. It lasts like an hour.
It's my favorite cantrip in the whole game. I love shape water. I get up to so
recently-
many shenanigans with shape water. Just wait.
I recently got sold on it as it being like one of the best cantrips.
It's so good.
It is really good, but you can only maintain 2, which so it's like you always got to watch what you're doing, keep track of things.
Yeah.
So now, she's got her friends on ice floats. BOSE has dived into the water with little BOSE on big BOSE. They get into the water kind of belly flopping, but as he does, smashing some of his rocks, the tendrils are going out. It puts out the flames that were really damaging him. He's a whole lot smaller now as he continues to work through this. And you know exactly what's happening. All the rocks inside him are being smashed up as he's getting smaller.
Little BOSE, average BOSE, would like to, seeing as that I'm right there, I'm pretty much a part of him right now. I'd like to cast, what's it called? Cure Wounds. Whatever I can.
You're going into the water. You don't need air to breathe, and you're probably one of the only ones that could actually speak underwater because you don't use air or a mouth. Wow, anybody else I'd be like, no, you ain't speaking underwater. You need air. But you don't. As a BOSE. That's interesting. Never saw that one coming. Okay. So go ahead and make a cure on him. You can give us some things and just tell us what you got. 12 is that. Oh, very nice. Boom.
Okay.
So you touch,
Yeah,
you
there
start
you go.
giving him some health back. You're doing this I would like you to make a perception roll, please, because you have no real light source now. There's no backlighting or anything else, but you can see in the dark, which is why I'm giving you the option to roll. You realize that you're in the process of healing him, and he's like going into the water, but you're seeing, because of the light reflecting off the tops of the water, some of the shadows that are still attached to him, and they're going with him into the water, continuing to attack and sap his strength. And you realize they are totally unaffected by the water as well.
Of course. Damn.
And we'll cut over to Klaak, the barbarian. Bloop, BOSE, bloop. And you're seeing the ship literally smashed, like almost in two. You know, where these two gigantic things have hit into it. Wow. Just busting this thing up. And, you know, the people there are celebrating. They're like, and you're realizing that all the chatter has slowly become BOSE, 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 BOSE. As all the little fish people are blooping it out at the same time. BOSE, BOSE, BOSE. And it's starting to chant out across the water. And in the distance, Klaak, you're able to detect this. Nerrida can't because she's in the water with the splashing, trying to help her friends and whatnot. You think you hear something else. Klaak, make a perception roll, and let's see if you understand what you're hearing.
Very perceptive. Hope I might have rolled this twice. Yeah, 9.
A 9.
A 9.
You can tell that it's a
Klaak
competing
perception.
chant, but you can't tell what it's saying. From back in the village, there's another set of kuo-toa blooping voices that are saying something entirely different. It's got multiple syllables, unlike BOSE, which just kind of pops out of their mouth easily. And you're like, but it seems to be the chanting, and you realize it's a whole group of kuo-toa dressed in garbs and robes, and really, why do they need to dress at all? They're fish people, but they are. And they're coming out towards the shore as a massive group, holding a staff above them with something hanging on the end of the staff as they approach. Nerrida, or Klaak, what would you like to do? I don't want to cut away from you too quick.
Yeah, I'm pretty confused about the fish people. I think all I would tell them is, evil elves. The slavers are gone now. You'll be safe.
As you do so, they tend to wrap around you and like give you little fish hugs and whatnot and pat you with their fins. Enjoy that you agree with them that the elves are evil and that, yeah, you're making friends quickly with this group. Nerrida, in the water, you're finding that oh wow, I totally forgot. Haha. I had set up a sound previously at the start of the game and just totally forgot to turn it on. We had Sirenscape this whole time and I just forgot about it.
Oh, really?
Sorry, Sirenscape. Sirenscape. This is where John would say, and there goes another subscriber, or another, what was it, sponsor. Sponsor is the word.
Yeah.
This is about our most dedicated sponsor who keeps bothering me. So if you would like to buy Harley Davidson cat treats, buy Harley Davidson because they're the best. Really, he's like a flop cat. Okay. Let me turn that music down a little bit. There we go. I think it was just a little bit loud. Hopefully that's better. Is that better for everybody? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, I lost all of you now.
I can hear you.
I can't hear you at all. Oh, I know why. Never mind. I turned that down. Haha. See, because we rushed, I totally forgot. And I'm surprised chat didn't pick up on it. They've probably been hearing this horrible echo this whole time because I was using my speakers rather than my earphone. I forgot. So my apologies to chat and everybody else that's watching this stream later on that's going, oh my God, it's horrible. It's echoey. That's because
We lost another one to die tech.
I'm telling you, I feel bad when we rush at the start and accidents like that happen. So now that we've got music in place and we have some, I don't know why we have bird sounds in the middle of
Cavern sounds tend to have bird sounds in them sometimes.
Can everybody else hear the music? Because I can't hear nothing.
I forgot to open Sirenscape, so
I have
have
it
open.
You won't hear it on Zoom because I don't have it going through my speaker. I have it going out to the Twitch. And since
Okay,
you're
cool.
listening via Zoom, Oh, and now I'm being told that all the music is gone. Whatever. I'm not fighting about this. I got one person telling me, messaging me that it's too loud. I'm not focusing on music. This is actually why I have John run it, so that I can focus on the game. So, stop it! I am Godzilla. I am Monster BOSE. Dude, go away. Leave me alone. He's a wonderful cat. Really is. He's fantastic.
Oh, kitten.
Yeah, he is still a kitten. He's gonna get big too. Oh, he's gonna be scary. I had just dropped off Klaak, and we know what BOSE. Who wants to go? Raise your hand.
Oof. You know what? Why not? What else can happen with BOSE and Big
And
BOSE?
what else is BOSE doing?
Oh, jeez. Okay. How do we deal with these little shadow creatures? At this point, is it just are they destroying more parts, or what's Big BOSE looking like right now?
You're into the water, so it's very difficult to see. But BOSE, you know, is not doing well, and you're attached to his vines. Let's say there's some vibe between you that you can feel what he's feeling. You can feel the pain that he's going down, and you also feel a tremor as a druid through the water, because again, he's kind of like pulling himself along the bottom of the lake to get into the deeper water, and it's almost like a wave or something coming at the wake from the lake towards you. There's vibrations in the water.
Ooh,
You're going out, and there's something coming towards you.
Can I make a perception roll for that?
You can most certainly try to sense through the water what it is.
Oh man. What do I got? All right.
Whatever it is, it's big. You know that. I'll give you that for your perception.
Okay.
It's something massive, probably as big as BOSE, if not bigger.
Oh, lovely. I want a third BOSE. Let's see. Okay. Does Big BOSE feel this as well, or is he just too busy feeling up like the pain and stuff?
He's too busy trying to in vain crush these things and realizing that, you know, his vines do hit, but trying to strike at them, they're literally going inside him as he's trying to. He's literally like too big to hit them properly.
Jeez, man, what can I do here? I guess with BOSE, I mean, like, there's no way that BOSE can take on just himself, like all those shadow creatures, let alone find them within Big BOSE. So he's just gonna try and cast Cure Wounds again on Big BOSE, trying to do whatever he can to keep him alive for now until this mystery monster, kaiju, whatever it may be, might show up and save the day. I hope it's Godzilla. Let's see.
Cutting back to Nerrida then, because I have your intents.
So the three of us are kind of floating along. I'm just treading water.
Slowly,
And,
using your skills, you start moving them towards the shore. You're going past these little rafts and other things, and you realize now that it's not people, but a strange fish that has arms and legs on it. Some are swimming around you, and some actually come. And at first, it almost seems like they're attacking you, and then you realize they're not. They're actually swimming and bumping along next to you, almost like a dolphin would do, to push you along, you and your friends, and they slowly get you to the shore in a much faster way than you could have on your own. And Remy's like,
Okay.
Thank you, thank you. He starts kissing the dirt on the shore.
I'm gonna look at them, and I am going to say, I don't know that they'll understand me because I don't know what these creatures are, but they look like little fish creatures. So I'm gonna say in Aquan, I'm gonna say, thank you, get them dry, out of the water. What is going on?
Okay, so you're going right for the primordial there. Okay.
Yeah.
Because at first I was like, wait a minute, where'd you get a language? I'm like, oh wait, water Genasi. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, It took me a split second. I was like, what? That's not
They
tasty.
seem to understand.
Hang on one second. I'll let you know.
I can't remember mechanically
think
what
they
kuo-toa
do.
language. I don't think so. I think they speak the other water language, which I think I know the name of, but I can't remember off the top of my head
from when I last ran kuo-toa with
Deep
my own game.
speech.
Nope.
No, I don't think it's that.
No. Yeah, I didn't
I
think
think
so
it's like,
because they're fish. Yeah, they don't. Yeah.
Lip thropper, blippy doop-lopper.
They're almost like Kenku that they start to hodgepodge other things together, but yeah, no, they don't. You say this, and as they're doing, they just continue to like flap around you, and they start gently trying to help Remy up. Huxley looks at you and says, "That was so much fun. We need to do that again." But what happened to BOSE? Did you see BOSE? He dove in the water.
No, I will go find BOSE. I saw the big. Was that BOSE?
Yeah, BOSE. He just went out into the water. Are you gonna be able to bring him back? He's kind of big.
I don't know. I will find out.
You can see Klaak surrounded by, because he's a little bit bigger than the fish people.
Oi! Klaak!
Hey, you made
What
it down.
are you doing here?
It's a little bit blurry, but I kind of got charmed by an evil elf.
Okay.
And I'll
Can
make
you
my way
swim?
over to them.
Can you swim?
I swim okay.
Okay, we are going to go try to rescue BOSE.
Remy's like, I'm not going out in the water again. Are you crazy? We'll die.
You are staying right here where the DM can NPC you.
Huxley looks over and goes,
Oh.
DM, it is dark in here. She must mean it's dark as midnight. And Remy's like, yeah, that's exactly what she meant. I'll explain it to you.
All
He says.
broken.
In the meantime,
You stay with Remy, protect Remy.
you're watching the rest, and there's another snap on the hull of the ship as it starts to sink into the water. Because again, it's been smashed through the top, had part of its whole side taken in. It's been taken in water this whole time. You haven't seen anybody run off the ship, though. BOSE, you're in the water working on doing these heals. I don't know how many you can do and whatnot. You know, I'm just going to assume that you're using some up. You can work on your character sheet. And you see a yellowish red like set of things coming towards you and whatnot. As it comes towards you, they seem to be moving in tandem, almost like they're swimming towards you. And as they get closer, you're like, wow, these are some pretty big things. And then you realize, oh, no, it's not two. It must be like a set. You know, there's four of them, but they're two sets moving independently as they're, you know, swimming towards you under the water. And BOSE, entity voice says, the giant BOSE says, not the BOSE, or not the BOSE formerly known as BOSE, but giant BOSE says, you know, this entity must protect kuo-toa. And, you know, it continues to try to move, like sending some of its vines into itself. It's probably now, if you'd have to guess, just you seem to have a feeling that it's probably about maybe 30 feet high, maybe half the size, because its rocks have just been slowly smashing. But as it smashes the rocks, there's less place for the shadows to hide and whatnot. So it thinks that it's possibly killed some of the shadows already, but it's still taking some damage. And it finally gets the last one. It starts coming up into the shambling mound, trying to form out of the water, but it's got no rocks. Everything's been smashed into rubble and debris. And now this maybe 20, 30 foot tall BOSE is like, you know, because again, the last rock's falling away, is coming and emerging from the water as these glowing lights under the water, you realize aren't creatures at all. It's two sets of eyes with pupils in the middle, and each eye is probably as big as maybe at least a cow, if not bigger. And you're like, oh God, why does it have to be cows?
God.
You know, and slowly this comes up out of the water, these both sets of eyes as it gets its feet under it, and you realize there are two creatures working together as these snake-like heads come out of the water, getting legs under it, emerging up. You guys on the shore, as you're preparing to rush into the water, going splish splash, you know, 5 feet, 10 feet, it's up to your knees, you're going deeper, and you see these glowing lights come out of the water. And Klaak, you hear now the voice from behind you going, Lee moo goo goon, Lee moo goo goo, over the BOSE, 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 BOSE. These other chanting voices are Lee moo goo goon, Lee moo goo goon. And this thing rises out of the water, two giant heads, tentacles for arms, spraying out to the sides. And somebody inhales their breath from somewhere near you. You don't know who it is, but it's a funny sound as this thing rises massively. Tentacled arms, bigger even than BOSE was, going into the sky above the water. Colton or Klaak and Nerrida, do you wish to continue your rush out towards the water, towards the...
Nope. Nope. Nerrida knows a sea monster when she sees one.
Oh, yeah.
She's getting right the fuck back where she came from.
She doesn't even wait for Klaak. It's like...
Come on, I start dragging Klaak by the shoulder.
And I'll just get drugged back.
Oh my god, what is happening?
See if the little fish people are like doing a little like chanting.
Yes, they are.
Okay, and they're like, they look like they have these big wide eyes at this thing, so I'm just gonna assume, okay, these creatures, they have, oh no. Okay.
The kuo-toa closest to you appear to have grouped together almost like they're praying as they're like, BOSE, 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 BOSE. And the other ones are like, Limu. And they're coming out, and you realize it's like a whole group from this village coming towards the shore. And it's almost like two different religions, like not ready to strike each other, but calling on their gods. And slowly but surely, BOSE, the shambling thing that you're riding, BOSE with a BOSE rider, is riding, is going towards this massive thing coming out of the ground with the tentacles. And one head roars, and then the other head roars, and it echoes across the cavern as it starts moving forward, smash, smash, and raises up and looks down one head, and then the other head turns down and looks at this little BOSE, and both tendrils come up and come swinging down to attack BOSE. What is your response to this little BOSE? Baby BOSE?
Oh, man. Well,
formerly Big BOSE?
OG BOSE is like, oh, man.
You could have 5 plot points for that. OG BOSE, I love it.
Thank you. Okay, so OG BOSE is like, okay, I don't have much power in this fight. This kind of seems out of my league. But the best he can do is advise at this point. And BOSE is going to just continue with the voice in your head thing. And, oh, man, I guess BOSE is going to say,
we must evade, dodge, run.
Because right now, knowing Big BOSE is technically naked and nothing but vines, seems like a pretty bad fight right now.
Yeah, he's only got a few rocks to his name at this point, and they ain't the strong ones. So OG BOSE continues to speak into Big BOSE's mind, and you feel a connection like never before. And it seems to respond, trying to get away. Big old creature with the tentacle arms comes smashing down, each head running at this thing, smashing away. You're still riding his back, so you're going to share the strikes of damage, which aren't good. Because
not good.
both
That's
hit.
bad.
Yeah, both hit. BOSE did try to get away, but BOSE in water. You can drown a plant. BOSE in water doesn't move quick. BOSE in water is not a good thing. Yep. So, we're forged in water. Okay. BOSE in water. Yeah, for a short time. They don't move quite as quick though. Yeah, damage is bad. And Big BOSE, because you're so connected, at the last moment, you're like, this thing is coming down, and all the vines of Big BOSE wrap around you, almost like trying to take your rocks and hit and you inside of it. As first the one massive tendril, this bigger than the docks, bigger than the ship, man. These things just smash down, and then another one smashes down like the Kraken tendrils, almost in Pirates of the Caribbean. That was a really good, well done CGI. You know, smash down one on top of the other. BOSE takes the brunt of the damage, and you can feel its life force go out. The vines almost radiating with this BOSE, 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 BOSE. It gets quieter as it goes down, releasing you as the tendrils start rolling back, but you're under the water. So chances are it might not see you at the moment, but you could swim over to it and attack if you want.
I don't know if BOSE has that kind of power right now. No. Seeing is that Big BOSE essentially just kind of died. One, that's just going to be some trauma to think about later, but but no, BOSE is swimming away from this monster of a creature.
Do you wish to go towards the shore, or do you wish to go towards deeper water where it came from, or back?
Oh no, absolutely not. This thing is clearly water is its home and where it probably feels strongest. So I'm trying to get to land of some sort.
As you're moving towards the land, because your perception is so high, you hear a strange sound behind you. You don't have to roll for this one. And what you're hearing sounds almost like a bubbling hiss of boiling water. You've heard it a lot around humans and whatnot. They have tea kettles and whatnot. But you look back and you know steam. You've seen where fire has hit water before and whatnot. And the whole creature appears to be almost putting off steam. And around its legs is that same bubbling sound that I heard earlier coming from the water. And, you swim towards shore. Nerrida, Klaak. In the meantime, on the shore, your team of BOSE chanters start to weep as the Limu Gugun gets louder. It's almost like a stadium chant as the crowd is going wild that their team is victory. One head and then the other roars out piercingly loud, literally releasing some of the smaller, weaker stalactites from the ceiling that fall, crushing some kuo-toa homes, crushing some kuo-toa, causing you to dive as small rocks hit you as this creature rages and splashes the water and then starts moving forward towards the entire village as they're like, Limu Gugun, Limu Gugun. BOSE, you see your friends, Klaak and Nerrida and Remy and Huxley on the shore, kuo-toa sort of fleeing from them. At least the BOSE ones. The other ones, Limu Gugun, have gotten down on their knees and they're all like Limu Gugun, flapping their little flippers in front of it, which some of them have these arms at the end of them, appearing to worship this thing that is coming forward.
They must have some kind of control over this monster.
I don't know about that. I think they just summoned it from the depths.
I didn't hear a horn or anything.
We should not stand here. We should run. Let's go.
I think there was some nice things on the ship. Did you want to see about that?
Let's check the ship out. Yeah, sure. Okay. As long as that thing is not going for the ship next. Gotcha.
Oh, okay. That's not what I wanted to do. How about we... I'm sure the fish have nice houses. We can check that out.
I think we should survive these first, loot second.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I just had to unmute myself. I was just describing to them, chat. Sorry about that. I've got to find a better way. I've really got, other than clicking on OBS, I've really got to find a better way. A switch. I know what I'm doing. I'm ordering a new mic, and I'm going to put a switch on it. That way I can just be like, here. That'll be smart. All right. On my to-do list, I'll let you know when it's coming, and I'll let you know what mic I'm buying. What I was explaining, chat, was just that it's a straight line between them, connect the dots. Them, dock, ship, monster. So they chose that they didn't want to do that. They're like, yeah. Thank you very much, Samurai Jesus. Love you. God bless you. I don't know how to do the raid when I'm done, Samurai Jesus. Otherwise, if you were streaming at the end of this, I'd be like, we're all raiding you, going over. So, sorry about that. Distraction. Back into it. All right, so you guys have got the chanters. There are Limugugan. You got the BOSE people fleeing. You got BOSE coming out of the water. You got your entire group together. Huxley agreed, run where? Because Nerrida and Klaak are suggesting running. Remy's like, anywhere! And he takes off after the BOSE people away from the big thing. Huxley's like, anywhere! But she kind of looks where Nerrida and Klaak start going towards the dock, and then runs back, and then she goes, BOSE! You got small again! She sees him coming out of the water. BOSE, you're together with Huxley. Klaak and Nerrida, you're together. What are your thoughts?
I'll follow after Remy.
There you go. Klaak's like, I'm out of here.
Run.
So, unlike Nerrida this time, he's leading the way.
Yeah, I'll follow.
Nerrida, Klaak, BOSE, how about you?
Yep. Following, getting out of this situation.
And it only takes a few moments, and all of a sudden, all four of you are chucking it towards the Kuo-toa village beyond the Limo-Gugan, chanters and whatnot. You guys get in there, and there are walls, but they're walls made by fish people, not structural walls like dwarves or Goblin made or anything else. You guys could pretty much, with a sword in 5 minutes, cut through most of these walls that are their defensive walls. But you get into the village, the huts are literally just that. These are ramshackle, some of them made of mud and other stuff. It's a very poor fishing village, and this is their town. BOSE, you've been here before. This is their city, man. This is cool. These are fun people. They live off the world. It's beautiful, man. They don't damage it. It's awesome. Reeds and whatnot in the water, reeds over everything, fish hanging up. It's a cool place. You run towards the village. They see you approaching, and immediately there is rejoicing. There is shouting from the BOSE people inside who are like, BOSE, 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 bloop, BOSE, BOSE, bloop, BOSE.
He has risen.
That's it, man. Their savior has come. He who saves the people is here. And in the meantime, the Limo-Gugan people are out there chanting, their savior has come, and it comes straight for, the BOSE that has run ashore. It comes straight for this ship, which it smashes down on, putting the rest of it into the water, coming forward. Klaak, you're pretty sure you can see on part of the ship, a mast still standing up, this shadowy goblin in the distance trying to hang on to a mast that's still in the water as this Limo-Gugan, which I want all of you to make oh gosh, what would it be? Not an arcane, maybe. You can make arcane or history, whichever one you want, because some of this comes from both. And I'll turn on some roll 20 rolls so that people can see as it scrolls by.
10.
That's going to be a 4. It's going to be a big old
10,
4.
a 9, and a 4. Oh, somebody can make a roll for Alex, and somebody else can make a roll for Huxley. So
Since I'm
Remy
not,
and Huxley. Say who's doing
what
it.
would you call that?
Claim it.
Read
I'll
claim
get
it.
Huxley.
Okay, Huxley claimed. Who's doing Remy?
I'll do Remy.
Okay, he's doing.
I don't
Remy.
really read the books.
Remy
you
should.
would
I
say.
mean, Arcana's good for him.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a
geez.
14 off of him. But he's got bonuses on that too, so that's.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Wait, how do I? No,
That's all right. I
have
already
no idea how to
adjusted
get
it in my
to-
mind. We're good. I just needed a roll.
Sweet. Thank
didn't
you.
Yeah, I can make the adjustments.
You
I'm just
have a
giving players a roll.
negative 3. Oh my lord, this boy is dumb.
Oof.
Natural 1 minus 3. Negative 2 from Hux.
Oh no, Huxley.
Negative 2.
You see Remy and Huxley both point out, and Remy points out and he goes, Huxley points out and he goes, Lythander, at the same time as Remy points out and goes, Demogorgon! And that's where we'll end it for tonight.
Oh my god.
Of course.
Oh my god.
So maybe there's two gods out there ready to fight. I don't know, but we're about
I
to
just
find
love
out.
it. I love the imagery that Huxley has been worshipping a Demogorgon this whole time.
Oh
my God.
god.
Chat missed as I was pointing. They all saw me on Zoom. I was like, they're both pointing out at the same time, and it's like, Nathander, Demogorgon.
We are not equipped to fight a true Demogorgon.
Oh god.
We're sure not.
And then there was the DM's plan, which is, this is awesome. I get to put them together on an ancient ship, give them this beautiful vessel of magic, and I give them a guide. And I'm like, I've got the plan for tonight. I've got this. Never thinking.
I wanted the ship so much, but then logic me was like, wait, if this is freshwater, how the fuck are we gonna get it out to sea?
Yeah.
DM had a plan.
Nerrida still plans to raid that boat. She's still gonna, when this thing goes away, she's gonna swim down there and see what she can find.
Yep.
That's her intention.
And BOSE has to work through some
Good
grief.
intention.
Yes.
He finally finds another one of his kind, and it dies.
Instantly dead. Almost. Oh no. Instantly dead.
Klaak got to. I had stuff for every single one of you, all 5 players, and I'm like, Klaak had this ancient goblin who was going to recognize. I had every one of you. I was like, I've got stuff tonight, and this is just going to be the epic beginning. And I'm like, oh wow, and we ended up with a battle. You know, and we got Demogorgon here. I'm like, oh, I feel kind of like what just happened with my glasses. I'm like, ah. So,
I think
which
it's
I
funny
love.
too because It's never been like one of us messing everything up. It's been it's each of us.
It's a story.
Turn each time.
We all
It's not like
collectively.
that. It's not that I'm always chopping everybody's heads off. It's
Yeah.
that.
Oh, nothing
But-
like that or anything.
No, I do it occasionally.
This is what I love about real D&D. It's like you don't have to railroad your players. All you have to do is release. And whenever I'm training DMs, I'm like, don't railroad, release. Just let your players have fun, man. They will make a story. You have to make your plans as a DM because you got to know a direction you're trying to feed them.
Mm-hmm.
But man, let them have at it. It's like, wow. Like, yeah, I didn't picture, my I didn't picture this one. Yeah. I have to stop myself because I keep wanting to say, here's what I thought was going to happen. It's like, but there still might be elements of that, so I have to be quiet. So, hey, from all of us here at Plot Points, man, this was so much fun. I hope you viewing it had fun. As you guys saw, Nerrida, if you and Colton didn't see it, I gave you guys plot points in the thing at the same time as I gave BOSE plot points. So, in fact, I have a number that I'm going to add to it. First person in chat to pick a number between 1 and 20, I'm going to add to it. It'll go around the curve, and that's going to tell me a number that I'm giving to you guys. 17 plus 8 is 25. So that would be 5 plot points to each one of you. So you guys get another 5 plot points.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
We might be using them pretty profusely next
I've been
session.
just saving them up because I have no idea what to do with them yet.
That, and we all still have inspiration too.
Yeah. Every
that's
one of you is
pretty-
tagged with inspiration thanks to chat. You guys have plot points built up. You've created an adventure. And you've done other things that some of which you know, some of which you don't know. Again, all affecting the world. And I love it, man. We have the most amazing chat viewers in the world. I want to thank every one of you. You guys kept us on target. When I screwed up the mute, you let me know. You guys kept us on for music. Wow. I just want to thank chat with all my heart, man. You guys are truly the 12th person, which I think that's the phrase that they use in the football. I don't know. That was a thing, wasn't it? 12th man in football for the crowd? Yeah, 12th man. We have an awesome 12th man. All right, so I know I've got to close this out. I'm supposed to end the stream, so hang on one second here while I switch it over. Boom! No, that's not it. That just says Samurai Jesus. Hey, Samurai Jesus, we were rating you last time, so there you go. So Kitty Doe, she's broadcasting. That's actually where she's at right now, since she's not here to talk for herself. She's making content for you. So she will be back next week. But before then, you'll have content. And after that, we have Three Minds podcast. He's not here either, but he's part of siblings that get together and do this wickedly funny podcast. They're way professional, whereas I'm way not. So, they take forever to put theirs together, and it comes out awesome. Go listen. They don't have a lot of them, but they'll make you laugh. It's kind of fun. And, whoop, that's the wrong one. And then it's Deck of Many Queers. You're up.
Yeah, you can find us on decaqueers.com or on the tweeters at decaqueers. We upload usually every week, 3 times a week. The past 2 weeks, I've been so it hasn't really happened. But usually we upload a lot. There's already over 60 hours of content on Decaqueers, so check it out.
Wow, very cool. So, Das Colton, you're up.
Again, just like I said at the beginning, kind of setting up a one-shot kind of server for Discord to do some 5e. Excited about that, and doing roleplay on Grand Theft Auto with Samurai Jesus. Actually, a few people from chat are involved. Spicy Shitsu also. I think she actually went to a different server from us right now, but... and I have been playing a lot of Magic the Gathering, and I might stream that as well. So, setting up some times, and this is the only place you can catch me right now, though. Eric, please tell us what you got. Show me what you've got. This entity.
Well, I actually do have something now. So, Sean is going to be DMing another campaign. It's going to be Relics of War. And it's going to include yours truly. I'm super excited for this one, especially with the characters that everybody's going to be playing. I think this is a fantastically diverse races in there. I think it's going to be really fun. And if you want to watch just a bunch of veterans being, veterans, join us. That's all I ask. Other than that, I hope everybody has a fantastic week. And yeah, I'll throw it back to you, Sean.
That stream that he's going to be a part of is Sunday nights from 9 to 11 Eastern Time. So that would be what time you want to tune in. If you want to watch it, you can always watch reruns here on Plot Points. We will be streaming it from here and then putting it on YouTube with all the other stuff as well. So it's kind of a reboot, same game as you saw before. It's set in the same universe, which is Eberron with a few twists and whatnot. But hey, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I'm your host, story guide, your friend. And I just want to tell you, whatever table you're at, may you have the best game ever. Happy gaming, friends, and God bless. Bye from all of us at Plot Points. Bye!
Nice.
See ya.